Hello, church. So today is our devotional for Monday, June 2nd. You may have missed me on Saturday. We had our conference meeting and was down at Souderton and wound up not getting back over to church to get that done. So apologize for the delay. We will be finishing up our Psalm 74. Just as a reminder, more in my brain than in yours, possibly. Um, this is a psalm about the destruction of the temple. And we talked through a couple of pieces in James Mays. I'll share one more. Um, he spent a lot of time on this psalm. It was a little too dense for me to want to share or be able to share for our purposes. But yeah. So we'll start with our New Revised Standard Version. And this begins in the NRSV at verse 12. I talked last time about Peterson breaking it a little bit differently for his, but I think you'll hear where it matches up. Yet God, my King, is from of old, working salvation in the earth. You divided the sea by your might. You broke the heads of the dragons in the waters. You crushed the heads of Leviathan. You gave him as food for the creatures of the wilderness. You cut openings for springs and torrents. You dried up ever-flowing streams. Yours is the day, yours also the night. You established the luminaries and the sun. You have fixed all the bounds of the earth. You made summer and winter. Remember this, O Lord, how the enemy scoffs, and an impious people reviles your name. Do not deliver the soul of your dove to the wild animals. Do not forget the life of your poor forever. Have regard for your covenant, for the dark places of the land are full of the haunts of violence. Do not let the downtrodden be put to shame. Let the poor and needy praise your name. Rise up, O God, plead your cause. Remember how the impious scoff at you all day long. Do not forget the clamor of your foes, the uproar of your adversaries that goes up continually. And a bit from Mays. So when we had done the first part, just went through Mays' kind of description of some of the sections that we find ourselves in, which are there's 3 sections, and this just is a concluding paragraph. The psalm gives an intensely theological interpretation of the desperate straits in which Israel was left after the fall of Jerusalem. The foundations and institutions of Israel's religion have been demolished. Any further exercise of Israel's traditional religion must have seemed without basis or purpose. But this psalm is a prayer that speaks of God and the community and its central religious institution in a way that shows the fierce vitality of Israel's faith in the Lord in the midst of the worst of times. Perseverance, in a word. And completing with Eugene Peterson. God is my King from the very start. He works salvation in the womb of the earth. With one blow you split the sea in two. You made mincemeat of the dragon Tannin. You lopped off the heads of Leviathan, then served them up in a stew for the animals. With your finger you opened up springs and creeks and dried up the wild floodwaters. You own the day, you own the night. You put stars and sun in place. You laid out the 4 corners of earth, shaped the seasons of summer and winter. Mark and remember, God, all the enemy taunts, each idiot desecration. Don't throw your lambs to the wolves. After all we've been through, don't forget us. Remember your promises. The city is in darkness, the countryside violent. Don't leave the victims to rot in the street. Make them a choir that sings your praises. On your feet, O God, stand up for yourself. Do you hear what they're saying about you? All the vile obscenities? Don't tune out their malicious filth, the brawling invective that never lets up. The the dragon Tannin, that threw me. Not sure about that one. Leviathan, we hear of a couple places, and just this kind of this. It's not so much directing a sea monster, but it's just this general for some of the sea creatures that are going on. But a lot of good stuff there. It's an interesting turn if you listen back to part one of Psalm 74, because that's a very direct description of destruction. What we have happening now in this section is them remembering the power and actions of God. And then, as is the title of the section from James Mays, Remember Your Congregation, it's calling God to remember the covenant promises. And not so much for their sake, which is an intriguing part, because they have now taken on a humble and lowly perspective, but rather so that God's name might be recognized and proclaimed. All right, so we should be back with you tomorrow for Psalm 75. Reminder that as of Psalm 72, we're in book 3, which will continue in for a number of Psalms, and then keep on from there. Good to see everybody. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah, and my buddy here is old Mr. Foghorn Leghorn from the Chicken Barbecue is still here. There were some T-shirts getting thrown around on Sunday and some other stuff. We'll see you.